Reporting to the media this week in a special sitting at Post-Executive Council Media Briefing is the Chief Secretary Orville London, along with the Chairman of the Board of the Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute, Michael Simmons.
There are developments that happen, and I think that sometimes not too many people are aware of them, and therefore the significance of these events is lost on much of the population. And an event took place a couple of weeks ago, and I don't think that too many Tobagonians recognize the significance of that event and the impact that it has the potential to have on the development of Tobago, especially Tobago's young people. And therefore I thought that it was appropriate for me to ask Mr. Mike Simmons, the Chairman of the Board of Directors of the Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute, to share with you what has transpired, how it has come about, and what are in fact the implications, the positive implications of that particular event to the young people of Tobago and of course to the tourism industry.
The Institute, Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute, was approved with accreditation, and that's institutional accreditation. What does that mean for the Institute and for Tobagonians? Is that has now given the Institute an opportunity to expand its programs, to expand its enrollment, and to be of better service to citizens of Tobago, and by extension Trinidad and other regions. This accreditation, it is not a one-shot deal. It is something that we got the accreditation actually for 5 years with stipulated conditions, limited stipulated conditions, I must say. But the onus is on the Institute to maintain the standard that not just what we have, but to improve on the standard that we actually have at this point in time. It gives us an opportunity as well to produce students or graduates from the Institute who will be able to function more effectively and to make a more positive contribution with respect to the development of the island, not only in the tourism industry, but other areas, entrepreneurship, etc. I urge you at this point in time to keep your eyes and your ears at the activities that will be coming out of the Institute in the near future. We are currently going through a transformation exercise, looking at more qualified staff members, expanding our reaches through the marketing initiatives that will not only reach Trinidad, but of course will extend itself to the Caribbean. In other words, we are now in competition, or at the same level rather, with institutes in Barbados, in Jamaica, the Bahamas, and elsewhere. We need your praise, we need your input, and we need you to also look at what we offer and will be offering going forward. As of January 2015, a number of programs will be offered, and not only in the field of tourism or hospitality as the case may be, but also in terms of management training and various other areas that you can look forward to that will be to the benefit of all of us.
Our vision for University of Tobago does in fact have a platform, which is of course the Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute. And as Mr. Simmons would have hinted, we build on that platform and add programs and courses that are relevant. Programs and courses that are relevant to the development of Tobago, but programs and courses that will make Tobago more attractive to some students coming out of the region and even other parts of the world. In fact, sometime within this calendar year, we expect to mount at the Institute programs for our public servants and contract officers, ranging from the level of administrators right across down to clerks. And this is only going to be the first of many areas of collaboration between the Institute and the Tobago House of Assembly as we work together to develop the human capacity in Tobago. So I will just like you to, they say the proof of the pudding is in the eating. I'll just like Mr. to just show you the accreditation. It's not just words, it's a document.
This is a document that you would see at most universities and School of Higher Learning. In order to achieve this certificate or be granted this certificate, the review board, which is the Accreditation Council of Trinidad and Tobago, the Institute had to go through a rigorous review on all aspects of its operation, administrative, student activities, etc., faculty teaching, and all of those. And I must say that we were able to handle our stories, if I should use those words, in a magnificent way. And this is an historic moment for the Institute. It's the first indigenous institution on the island to gain this status. It is for 5 years, and it is not a case of us just saying we have accreditation. A good friend of mine said once, party is over, work now start. In this case, it means that we have, the Institute has to more or less concentrate and focus on activities, training, etc., as Mr. London just indicated, and in order to get to the next level. So we have to maintain a very high standard for the next 5 years. And this is not only with respect to the Institute doing it. We need your support, we need your cooperation, we need your involvement in various aspects of what we ask or require from you in order for us to maintain that level of accreditation.
I think we all know that today is International Men's Day, and I know we don't always come in for special mention, but I want to take the opportunity to extend best wishes to all the islands and the country's men, and to indicate that as far as I'm concerned, there are many more good men than not so good men. And therefore I want to pay tribute to all the good men of Tobago, those men who take up their responsibilities, those men who are exemplars, and those men who contribute so much to the upkeep of their families and the development of their communities and their island and their country. And I also want to take the opportunity to urge all of us who believe that there are still shortcomings, efforts that we can make to be better and to contribute more to our families and to our relationships and to our island and our country, that we should take today as a day of reflection and of course ensure that in the ensuing year that we are even better men. There was an event today, and I must express my disappointment before I even go into this. Today we celebrated the first annual Tobago celebration of World Geographic Information System Day. And this to me was an important occasion, a historic event in the development of Tobago, and a recognition that Tobago and the Tobago House of Assembly were in fact taking their responsibility to utilize the technology so that they can keep abreast of what is going on and ensure that they are not overwhelmed by the dynamism of the world in which we live. And it was very interesting that we would have invited the schools, we would have invited community groups, we would have invited the various sectors. And they all came. The only sector that was underrepresented was the press. And I found it particularly disheartening, to be quite honest. I can't tell the press what to cover and what not to cover. But there are times when the press is needed to spread the good word. This is not about the administration. This is about attempting to develop a particular kind of mindset among Tobagonians about the need for them to embrace the technology, about the need for them to keep abreast of the developments. And when you go to a function like that and the only people that you see are the representative of the information unit, it is, disheartening to those who organize, because the word is not going to be spread just by those who are there. The press has a role to play. And I just want to appeal to the press in Tobago to make an effort to assist, not the Tobago House of Assembly necessary, not the London administration necessary, but to assist Tobagonians and to play their role in spreading, I wouldn't even call it the good word, spreading the essential word to Tobagonians about what they should do if they are going to be able to take advantage of the opportunities and not to be overwhelmed by the challenges which are going to be surmounted, which they could be surmounted, if they have the right set of information. I just want us as Tobagonians to be aware of what the GIS is and the fact that it has wide-ranging impacts on planning and decision-making throughout the world, and in fact, we are now utilizing it in Tobago. As we speak, there are about 6 or 7 divisions of the Tobago House of Assembly which use GIS. The Department of Planning, Economics and Business, the Department of Land Management in its mapping and monitoring of state lands, TEMA in its mapping of asset incidences and hazards across the island, the Division of Agriculture and the mapping and monitoring of our natural resources, the Division of Health and Social Services in disease occurrences, the Division of Infrastructure in its maintenance and design of roads, and I must indicate that the Division of Education has embarked on a pilot program where 17 teachers are being trained in the UE certificate program in GIS to implement the use in the school curriculum. And in fact, we did have a lecture by Ms. Valerie Grant, from the Caribbean chapter of URISA, and she was indicating to us, the impact that the GIS is having in so many countries of the Caribbean. And they're having GIS camps, they're having donations of software, they're going into the schools, and they're ensuring that the young people understand the importance of GIS and the use of GIS in making life a little bit more understandable and, of course, making their education a little bit more relevant. And I'm saying that if we in Tobago don't get that message, we are going to be left behind. We are going to be overwhelmed. As you're aware, for a number of years, we have lived under what I will call the Milshelf cloud. We were taken before the court of law to determine whether we had any right to get involved in that whole process. And of course, the judge made a ruling, and I think we're all aware of the ruling, where he did indicate that the Tobago House of Assembly was within its right to get involved in a bolt arrangement without the approval or the permission of the Minister of Finance. But we weren't only placed before the court of law. The matter was referred to the Integrity Commission. And the Integrity Commission on the 7th of November wrote to our lawyers, Alexander Jeremy and Company, indicating that please be advised that the Integrity Commission conducting an investigation into this matter, and this is the Tobago House of Assembly's purported construction of the administrative office complex in Brackeson Milshelf project. And the Commission ruled, having examined all the evidence and legal submissions made by the concerned parties, the Commission has determined that there are insufficient grounds for continuing this investigation and has decided to terminate same in accordance with provisions of Section 34(6) of the Integrity in Public Life Act 2201, the Act. Section 36 of the Act states, when during the course of an investigation the Commission is satisfied that there are insufficient grounds for continuing the investigation, or that the complaint is frivolous, vexatious, or not made in good faith, it may terminate the investigation. Yours faithfully, Martin Farrell, Registrar, Integrity Commission. So I think it's a relief to all of us that this particular chapter is closed from that perspective. There are lessons which we would have learned from the exercise, and I think that it places us in a position where we could do things even better going forward. So that it was not a pleasant experience, but I think it was an experience that has been a learning process for us. And I want to give Tobago the assurance that we have learned from the process, and I think that we are better off for it. The other matter that I wanted to speak to, in which I have presented you with the documents, is the matter of the incursion of the Ministry of Tobago Development and other ministries and agents into the domain of the Tobago House of Assembly. As I indicated to you, I had penned a letter to the Prime Minister on the 12th of November, but I also said that it would have been in bad taste for me to reveal the contents of that letter to the press before the Prime Minister had an opportunity to see it. The Prime Minister, as you know, has indicated that she would have passed the contents of that letter on to the Attorney General for his opinion. I would have also indicated to you that this letter was written on the advice of the Senior State Counsel of the THA, Mr. Alvin Pascal, the Administrator, Mr. Ray Sandy, and former Chief Administrator, Mr. Alan Richards. Notwithstanding that, we have also taken the decision to send the document to 3 of the islands of the country, most esteemed senior counsels to get their opinion. Mr. Pascal would either have done that today or will do that by tomorrow. But I want to indicate to you that I cannot tell you who the people are until they have accepted the brief. But I'm certain that we will get an opinion or opinions, from senior state councils in the country with respect to whether there has been, whether in their opinion, we are convinced that there has been, or there have been, whether in their opinion there would have been incursions into the domain of the Tobago House of Assembly. And I want to indicate to you that the Forum of Political Parties and the Tobago House of Assembly would have met yesterday. And at that meeting, quite interestingly, Mr. Child was making the point that some of these actions on the part of the central government would have been considered illegal even under Act 37 of 1980. So in effect, we are moving back. We are regressing. Because Act 40 of 1996 was meant to give the Tobago House of Assembly increased power. But according to him, and this is supported by Mr. Alan Richards, who was the chief administrator in those days, some of the things which are being done now, even under Act 37 of 1980, will have been considered illegal. And therefore, I would really want you all as Tobagonians to look at the document and to make your own evaluation and to share with your readers or to your listeners or to your viewers what you think and whether it is in fact a political posture, political posturing, or whether there are in fact not numerous incidents of what I consider blatant incursion, because you remember the Prime Minister said that she is not convinced, but of course she had not read the document. I will find it very difficult, for her to come to any other conclusion after reading this very comprehensive document. As you're aware, the document speaks to different areas. It speaks to some of the advertisements which have been put out by the ministry. And when you look at the duties and responsibilities of the people, of the officers, you will realize that they're identical to the duties and responsibilities for people who are performing duties under Schedule 5. We also spoke to other areas of contravention with respect to state lands, respect to forestry, with respect to community development activities, industrial development, and there is a special section on statutory authorities and their responsibilities. And then it is supported by various clippings and various publications of the ministry itself. So I don't know how anybody who is honest about the situation can come to any other conclusion, but there have been incursions. And I just want to reiterate my position that it is untenable that on one hand you can say you want to give Tobago more autonomy, and on the other hand you are destroying the limited autonomy that it now has. And that is a level of duplicity and disingenuous behavior that we should not tolerate. All right. I just want to indicate the Secretary of the Division of Health and Social Services has asked me to inform Tobago that 47 checks would be presented to persons under the REACH program. As you might be aware, this assembly has various programs to assist entrepreneurs at all levels. Micro entrepreneurs, small entrepreneurs, medium-sized entrepreneurs, and we're now looking to see what we can do to assist large entrepreneurs. And these checks are given to persons in communities, and a significant proportion of these persons are females, to allow them to be able to improve or to start businesses which will allow them, of course, to become more self-sufficient. Assembly Day celebrations. And I want to indicate to you that I had 2 conversations today, over the last 48 hours, sorry. One at the meeting of the Forum of Political Parties with the THA, and the other at the meeting with the Assistant Secretaries and Secretaries. And a recommendation has been put forward and widely accepted, which I think I want the people of Tobago to ask themselves if it has merit. And that is that we should seriously consider changing Assembly Day to Tobago Day. Because what is being said is that we have passed the stage where the focus should be on the Assembly, the institution, and where the focus should really be on Tobago and where Tobago is going. A number of strong arguments have been put forward, and it is something that we are looking at, and I think something that deserves merit, and we will welcome the views of the people of Tobago with respect to this recommendation. So that is what has been put forward, and I am asking the press to, let's start a conversation. Nothing is cast in stone, but I think those people who've put it forward have done it with a certain degree of passion and some fairly strong arguments, which deserve, some merit. And I'll be prepared to go into that in a little bit more detail in future discussions. However, this year, the celebrations will start on the 3rd, that is on Wednesday. It's Wednesday the 3rd of December, with a service at the area outside the Dwight York Stadium, and then of course followed by the formal opening, cutting of the ribbon, and then the exhibition. The exhibition will run for 2 days. That's an exhibition involving the various divisions of the Assembly and allied units. And on one of the days, most likely on the Wednesday, there will be a concert, public free concert, where people can come and enjoy Tobago culture. I want to congratulate and extend best wishes to 3 primary schools. The 3 Tobago primary schools are into the national finals in 3 separate age groups, and well, not just age groups, age and of course sex. St. Andrews Anglican girls, the Women Anglican, and the Montgomery Government boys, they're all into the National Primary School football finals. I know they're up against very, very strong opposition. I think in two of the divisions, they're up against the defending champions. But they've been playing excellent football over the last many months, and I'm certain all of Tobago will be behind them, and I wish them the best. Because, you know, sometimes when people do well at this level, they oftentimes don't receive the kind of accolades that they will receive, you know, when they intercall and so on and senior competition. So I want to take the opportunity to wish the St. Andrews Anglican girls, the Women Anglican, and the Montgomery Government boys the best in their football finals tomorrow.
First of all, I don't know if you've heard of this yet about the incident which took place at the RC Primary School. Do you have any comments on this?
On my own behalf, on my family and the entire assembly, of course, join the Secretary of Education, Youth Affairs and Sport in really sharing our sympathy with the child, the parents, immediate family, classmates, schoolmates, the entire school population on what is a highly traumatic event. I have been a school teacher myself, and I think I understand, you know, what the entire school population must be enduring. I must commend the principal and the staff for their courage and you know, the way in which they dealt with the situation, and also all the agencies. I listened to the tutor representative. I listened to the secretary and his statement, and I think all of them showed, you know, the level of maturity and the level of empathy with which we associate with an event like this. The secretary reported today, as I think he had reported to the national community, that the school will be closed for the next 3 days. But they won't just be closed to reopen under the same circumstances. In fact, during those 5 days, they expect that both parts of the school will be completely fenced, and the security system will be put in place. He indicated that to us at the Executive Council brief meeting today. And he did give the assurance, or at least he has been assured, that that exercise could be completed by Monday for the opening of the school. That, of course, is not a permanent measure, as you're aware. That has been on the drawing board now for almost 10 years. But the challenge that we have is a challenge that I have explained to the people of Tobago on a number of occasions. That if you have a particular project and you get sometimes 5% of what is requested, which is the norm, you know, you ask for $40 million and you might get 2. Obviously, very little can be done, because you can't start a project except you're relatively assured that you'll get the funding to treat with it.
Thank you for tuning in to another Tobago House of Assembly's Post-Executive Council media briefing for the week ending November 22nd, 2014.